Alright guys, so today we're going to talk about non-objective art. This is art that does not have any kind of recognizable objects in it. It's often called abstract, but there's different versions of abstract. Okay, so non-objective art came out in the early 1900s. It was first coined by a Russian artist that used non-recognizable shapes to convey a meaning. So in other words, they could only use colors, they could only use various shapes and textures to evoke some kind of feeling or to portray some kind of a message to a viewer. You see, when an artist strips away all recognizable objects from a piece of art, the viewer is forced to interpret and pull a message from it. It takes a little bit more work, and it often has a little bit more impact on the viewing public. Take for instance this image by Kazimir Malevich. What impact does it have with this very large dynamic bold shape on the top part of the paper and these smaller pieces down on the bottom? What impact does that weight distribution have on the image? Just like in this image by Bomberg, you've got a repetition of shapes and colors throughout the piece. However, there's this bold brown and black shape that kind of divides the image. What purpose does that have, or what kind of feeling does that evoke in a viewer? So what message or feelings are being conveyed in the elementary mark making and colors like red, yellow, and blue in this Kandinsky painting, as opposed to this painting by Popova, where he uses a palette of earth tones and some darker hues. Also, notice that the artist uses a repetition of these arches to break up the picture plane and lead the viewer throughout the painting. Also, mark making can actually have a big impact on how a piece is interpreted. Mark Tobey has a congestion of these dynamic little scribbly marks. What implications could this make towards war or communicable diseases to a viewer? But then compare that to the mark making of Cy Twombly in this drawing. Look at the aggression in the scribble gestures that he made in this piece. What does this allude to in terms of a possible global topic that you may be addressing in your own artwork today? Often non-objective pieces have a certain texture, and when you're left with only the texture to look at, you're forced to wonder, where do these marks come from? What do they allude to? What kind of history does this piece of burlap have? And what impact does it have on me as a viewer? Also, don't be afraid to utilize negative space for your advantage, as seen in this painting by Morris Louis. Sometimes negative space or the empty area in an image can be used to evoke a feeling of emptiness or separation. Okay, so your goal on this 6x6 piece of paper is to illustrate in a non-objective way your global topic. So first of all, you're going to figure out where you're going to put the title of your overall topic. So I have kind of created a space, so this is where I would put my topic. So whether it's poverty or world hunger, disease, things like that, this is where it's going to be. If you don't have great penmanship or typographical ability, then be sure to use the stencil so that it looks nice. You don't want this part to be distracting. You want everything to kind of revolve around what your topic is. So first and foremost, figure out where you're going to put the topic that you're dealing with. So that's kind of why I've drawn these little marks. Next, you're going to have to start thinking about what kind of marks, what kind of mark making, what kind of colors, what kind of textures, what kind of shapes can help illustrate in a non-objective way this idea. So playing with negative space and what type of marks, all of that can allude to or support your overall theme, your global topic. If I was doing something and I wanted to allude to like isolation or loneliness, perhaps I'd put something over here and then have heavy shapes over here that kind of wrap around, that leave a nice open space around whatever this shape is. It doesn't even have to look like anything. That's the goal. It's non-objective. But then all these vibrant colors over here could allude to the idea that this shape is being isolated from all of this stuff over here. And that's just one example. Just like we saw in the art history examples that I included, there's lots of ways to evoke emotion through strictly mark making, through colors and textures and shapes that you use in your artwork. Also, be sure that you plan everything out lightly in pencil. You can always go back and erase mistakes if you come up with a better idea, but don't follow my lead on drawing in Sharpie. Enjoy, have a good time.